So now that I've got a working method for doing the end pieces of the hammer, I need to work out the central section of it. But to do that and have it cast up in the aluminium, it's not practical, obviously, to have this as one entire solid lump. So I'm going for the next best thing, and that is to cast this piece as one continuous piece. Now, to be able to do that in the sand, I've had to break it down into 3 individual pieces so that it can be removed out of the sand. The top section, where the round plate with the ruins go on it, has been broken in half so that it separates. You can see that I've got a bit of an S-curve there so that the pieces key up nicely together. That's held together there temporarily with a plate, and that plate holds everything in place whilst I pack in the first stage of sand. The lower part has the natural shape of the design of it, and I've used that shape again to work as a keying factor so that when those parts come together they key in properly, and also leave me with the correct seam line that I'm after when the parts go together. But what I need to do in regards to the complexity of it is I need to be able to have these parts packed into the sand separately but still be able to get them out. And what you've got to imagine is a sand core that runs through the centre there and is supported at either end, so that there's a void area underneath that, and then when the mould is put together it creates a void around the entire area that I can pour the molten metal into, thereby giving me this back to one solid piece rather than broken up parts. So the trick with that essentially is that I need to create a 3-dimensional shape within a 3-dimensional shape within a 3-dimensional shape. So I know it sounds overly complicated, but this is where the puzzle solving sort of comes into when you're trying to make up these sort of pieces. What I've come up with to get around it is I've taken my normal box, which is, you can see there the old version, the top and the bottom section of the box, and I've added a third section that will give me that large middle piece that once I unscrew this plate and take that off, these 2 parts can be removed separately, leaving me with a central core of sand that runs through that middle section all the way through. That means that once those 2 parts are removed, I can then remove this piece, and then that leaves me with a completely void area that I can pour the molten metal into and come up with the part that I'm after. So that's it now with the bits trimmed off. It still obviously needs a hell of a lot of cleaning to do in terms of all the sanding back and polishing, but it picked up the details that I was trying to get. The detail's a little bit light on the side there, but that's to be expected given that that's where it's sort of slid out of the sand. So it's not unusual that it would lose some of that detail there. But I've got more than enough metal sort of to work with in terms of being able to polish that back. So getting that cleaned up and then recutting that line in shouldn't be any issue at all. There was only one small blemish spot that I'm a tiny bit unhappy with, which is right in the centre there. I'm pretty sure that's the sprue side, not the riser side, and it's just sort of shrunk down into the centre of that a little bit. I'm not entirely sure because there is still a little bit of depth there, so once that's sort of sanded back completely, that may disappear. But even if it doesn't, I'm quite confident that I can clean that up to a point where it's completely invisible anyway. There is going to be a little bit of weathering put on this in terms of the finish of the metal. It's not going to be a completely shiny surface, it's more of a sort of motley sort of gunmetal type finish to it. I've still got to work out how I'm going to be attaching the end pieces to it, and I've got to make up things like the handle and the pommel and the decorative piece on top and that sort of stuff as well. But it's quite ironic how fiddly a simple looking shape like that can be when it comes to actually getting it cast. But anyway, that's the update for this time, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.